The sequel to the movie See Action starring Mark W.B. Family Plan 2 has finally arrived. The entire Morgan family returns to prepare for an unprecedented adventure. But unexpectedly, the perfect vacation is disrupted by the appearance of a mysterious figure, sparking an international cat-and-mouse chase, revealing shocking secrets hidden in the Morgan family's unspeakable past. The story goes back 1 week to Buffalo, New York, USA. A beautiful woman with an extremely seductive figure is sitting at a bar sipping wine. Just then, her phone suddenly rings. The man on the other end has transformed into Spider-Man, walking easily on the outer wall of a 100-story building as if walking on the ground. Following the man's instructions, the woman takes out a room card from under the bar counter. Then, she continues to follow his directions, easily avoiding a series of surveillance cameras. She passes through a busy kitchen and smoothly enters the target room, number 556. As soon as she enters, the package they are looking for catches her eye. At this moment, the man is still hanging outside the building, so he signals the woman to open the package immediately. Inside the package turns out to be an exquisite diamond necklace. Just as the woman cannot hold back a cry of surprise, the man also breaks into the room through the large window. Immediately after, the necklace in the box disappears, and is put around the woman's neck by the man himself. It turns out the two of them are not notorious thieves at all, but a loving married couple. They had a hard time sending their children away to prepare to enjoy a world of their own. The man playing Spider-Man is named Morgan. Looking at those skills, one can see he is no ordinary person. In fact, he used to be a top assassin in the industry, but has now washed his hands of the sword and successfully transitioned to selling cars. However, according to Morgan, his proudest title is that of a faithful husband and a benevolent father. Just as the atmosphere in the room is escalating, the eldest son, Kyle, suddenly calls. Morgan immediately rolls his eyes in annoyance but finally reluctantly answers the phone. Upon learning that their youngest son, Max, is inexplicably vomiting all over the sofa, his wife Ellie no longer has the mind for a date. She hurriedly drags her husband home. Under the careful care of his parents, Max luckily recovers the next day and participates in the family Thanksgiving dinner. Relatives who haven't seen each other for a long time gather at Ellie's parents' house, and the whole house is filled with laughter. Clearly, this is a warm and harmonious big family. However, when there are too many people, trouble easily occurs. Add a little gin to the mix and it's a disaster. Just like that, Kyle, who almost caused a major incident, is chased to the kids' table. He can't help but grumble a sentence, but ends up being made to laugh by his younger brother teasing him. Just then, Nina calls. She is absent due to work and is preparing to have an online party with the family. Since Nina works in news, someone mentions a recent report of interest. When everyone talks about the international criminal boss, Liam, dying in prison, Morgan's face suddenly changes and he becomes restless. It turns out this person is his biological father and former mentor. Seeing this, Ellie quickly calms the situation and skillfully changes the subject. However, after the party ends, Ellie is still full of guilt and apologizes to her husband. But Morgan tells her not to worry because Liam once wanted to kill them, so the kinship between the two had long since vanished. After the family party, Morgan pours all his mind into work. However, looking at the schedule provided by his assistant Isaac, Morgan feels a terrible headache. Recently, he has been on business trips too frequently and has no time to be with his family. Isaac hears this and can only helplessly comfort him that this is the price to pay if he wants to get big contracts. But very quickly, Morgan finds a balance between career and family. He looks through the international business contracts in hand and directly chooses a bank in London. This way, while negotiating work, he can conveniently visit his eldest daughter, Nina. Finally, Morgan decisively does it all at once, deciding the family Christmas travel destination will also be London. Considering this a business trip combined with tourism. But before waiting for his wife's response, Kyle flatly refuses, saying he has a match during Christmas and absolutely no time to fly to London for a holiday. However, Morgan feels that the family reunion is more important. He intends to seek support from his wife, but unexpectedly, Ellie also feels this arrangement is not right. Although she also wants to see Nina, compared to going to strange London, she would rather stay home for Christmas. However, Morgan expresses that as long as their whole family is together, there is no need to be formal about the location or the house. Wherever they are, that is home. Ellie is deeply moved by these words and finally agrees to go to London for Christmas. But as soon as the words are spoken, Kyle, with unsteady driving, crashes the car. This time, Ellie wants to leave this city even faster. So the next day, all 4 members of the Morgan family arrive in London. They originally wanted to surprise Nina, but unexpectedly, they are the ones surprised. From the bathroom, a strange man suddenly walks out, naked from the waist up. Morgan thinks his daughter has encountered a pervert and immediately, without a second word, wants to teach the other guy a lesson. However, just as he prepares to strike, he is stopped by a panicked Nina. It turns out this man with bulging muscles in front of them is her boyfriend. Hearing this, Morgan feels like he's been struck by lightning, feeling like his family's precious cabbage has been rooted up by a pig. But compared to his discomfort, Ellie feels happy because her daughter has a healthy boyfriend who also knows how to speak well. A sweet-talking guy makes the mother-in-law bloom with joy. Seeing this scene, Morgan feels even more annoyed inside and directly switches on interrogation mode. After learning that his daughter's boyfriend is a chef who knows parkour, Ellie is even more satisfied, feeling the other party is multi-talented and very suitable for Nina. However, Morgan is still not at ease, dragging Nina out for a walk to prepare to extract more detailed information. Unexpectedly, just mentioning her boyfriend Ollie, Nina starts talking non-stop. She says that he is not only handsome but also very gentle and thoughtful with her, always knowing how to make her laugh happily. Looking at his daughter immersed in love, Morgan has to helplessly compromise. After all, he is not a conservative person, but he is still unhappy inside. On the other hand, Ollie is demonstrating his parkour skills for his 2 future brothers-in-law. This magnificent performance makes Kyle and Max drop their jaws in amazement. Regaining his senses, Max immediately gets interested and wants to try, but the boy falls and kisses the dirt. However, he doesn't cry at all, on the contrary, he smiles happily. At this moment, Morgan runs over worriedly to carefully check if Max is injured. But Ollie says he shouldn't be overprotective of the children but should let them experience things themselves. Morgan is suppressing a belly full of anger with nowhere to vent. Seeing Ollie approach him on his own, he doesn't say 2 words and pours out his crazy anger. In an instant, the atmosphere becomes extremely awkward. Luckily, Ellie steps in to make peace. She reminds Morgan that there is an early meeting later, telling everyone to go do their own thing and gather at noon to celebrate Christmas. At this time, Morgan gradually calms down, realizing his attitude was too excessive, and follows his wife's words to soften his tone. Waiting for the whole family to adjust to the time zone, Nina also arrives at the hotel to meet them. Seeing this, Morgan finally smiles and happily announces loudly that the Morgan family's Christmas journey will officially begin in 3 hours. Because before that, he still has to go to Cadogan Bank to negotiate work. Then Morgan hands the document bag containing the tickets to Nina, asking her to keep it safe. Seeing that he seems happy, Nina tries suggesting letting Ollie join the trip, but is flatly refused by Morgan. Seeing her father's face isn't good, Nina dares not say anything more. Not long after, Morgan smoothly arrives at Cadogan Bank. He intends to finish the work quickly to have more time with his family. But unexpectedly, just as he arrives at the reception desk, a bearded man steps forward. The other party actively hands over a business card, saying they had spoken on the phone before. Seeing Morgan show no suspicion, the bearded man asks bluntly if he can really provide the technology they want. Morgan naturally says it's no problem, but what he didn't expect is that the bearded man wants him to help break into the bank. Morgan immediately frowns, but the other party seems not to see it, directly wanting to lead him to the vault room. Who knew Morgan was more familiar with the layout than him, not only finding the right direction but also using a paperclip to successfully break the passcode lock, then taking the opportunity to chat with the vault room staff. He smoothly obtained her access card, easily opening the vault door without wasting any effort. This seamless coordination makes the bearded man very satisfied, but unexpectedly, just as they enter the room, Morgan directly subdues the bearded man from behind, forcing him to ask who the other party really is. If he is truly a bank employee, why do the receptionist and vault staff pretend never to have met him? However, as soon as the words are spoken, the bearded man pulls out a phone. On the screen is a photo of Ellie. Seeing the other party dare to use his family to threaten him, Morgan immediately flies into a rage, but for his wife's safety, he can only agree with the bearded man to open vault number 411. Luckily, this is a small matter for Morgan. Seeing him play with a paperclip for a moment, the safe opens. Morgan places the object inside in front of the bearded man, demanding the other party release Ellie immediately. Unexpectedly, the bearded man pushes his luck, pulling out a gun and signaling him to open the box. Reluctantly, Morgan has to obediently follow. As a result, he discovers that inside the box is only a key with an antique design. It is not just an electronic key, it is a key that opens a kingdom. Hearing this, Morgan is suddenly startled, not understanding how the bearded man knows the origin of this key. At this moment, the other party unexpectedly takes out a photo. It is a photo of Morgan as a child taken with his father. Beside them is a chubby child in the house. But the bearded man's next words make Morgan doubt his entire life. That chubby boy is the current bearded man. But he is not the maid's child, but Morgan's biological younger brother. Looking at Morgan's unbelieving face, the bearded man feels extremely satisfied. He says today he must take the key, so he needs his good brother to go with him to act out a play. Otherwise, he will kill his whole family. Thinking of his wife and children whose life or death is unclear, Morgan has to compromise again and act out a fake bank robbery with the bearded man. Seeing robbers with weapons, everyone in the bank immediately holds their heads and squats on the ground. No one dares to interfere. Just like that, Morgan and the bearded man smoothly walk out of the bank. At this moment, a black car parks on the street and Isaac rushes out of the car. Seeing the other party keep his promise to release the person, Morgan's suspended heart finally lowers. As for the bearded man, he takes the opportunity while Morgan is distracted to get into the black car and speed away out of sight. Looking at the gun taped tightly to his hand, Morgan immediately realizes he has inadvertently caused big trouble again. Sure enough, the next second, a series of police cars rush in. Clearly, someone had called the police beforehand. Morgan hurriedly pulls his wife to run. The two run for their lives across a narrow alley and into a gift shop. But the gun in Morgan's hand still causes considerable attention. Reluctantly, the couple has to continue fleeing, exhausted, preparing to find a safe place to hide. While running, Morgan calls Nina, informing her of the situation he is facing, then instructs her to keep her younger brothers in place and then throw away the phone she is calling on. Hearing this, Nina immediately does as told. Also at this precise moment, the bearded man unexpectedly turns his car around, chasing the couple. In a situation of being surrounded front and back, the two can only speed like flying back to the hotel, where the children are obediently waiting. Without time to explain in detail, the couple immediately signals the children to follow. However, before they can run far, they are detected by the bearded man following them. He immediately slams on the gas pedal to rush forward but is blocked by a barrier in the alley, able only to helplessly watch the Morgan family escape. Waiting until they blend into the crowd on the Christmas street, Morgan breathes a sigh of relief. Ellie also takes the opportunity to throw the handbag containing the gun into the trash can, after which the whole family quickly climbs onto an automated bus. However, as soon as they sit down, a series of questions from Kyle are fired like a machine gun. Ellie also questions Morgan with doubt about whether he is hiding any other secrets from her. But as soon as the words are spoken, the bearded man appears behind them, still holding a gun in his hand. Morgan's heart immediately jumps to his throat, fearing he will harm his family. But in the bearded man's eyes, there are absolutely no other people. He only demands Morgan hand over the key. It turns out that as soon as he walked out of the bank, Morgan had quickly stolen the key. Seeing her husband not responding, Ellie cannot restrain herself and rushes onto the roof of the bus, grabbing a fire extinguisher and smashing it hard onto the bearded man. Then she directly opens the engine compartment door and sprays him forcefully. However, the bearded man is not easy to deal with. Not only is he unharmed, but he also counterattacks and restrains her. Seeing his wife in danger, Morgan hurriedly takes out the key and throws it away without hesitation. Seeing this, the bearded man pushes Ellie away. In his eyes, there is only the key containing the earth-shattering secret. After successfully escaping the pursuit, Morgan takes his family to a bar to rest. Kyle is still immersed in the excitement of the life-and-death escape just now, constantly asking about the grudge and love between his dad and the uncle. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the bar waiter suddenly finds Morgan and gives him a backpack, inside containing a large amount of cash. It turns out the two are also old acquaintances. This money was personally entrusted by Morgan to the other party to keep safe many years ago. Now, sure enough, it has come in handy. Morgan prepares to take the whole family out of London but is fiercely opposed by Nina. She says she has settled here and does not want to give up the stable life she had such a hard time obtaining. Morgan understands his daughter's mood, but the bearded man has obtained the key. This means that before long, he can enter the encrypted account left by his father, controlling all assets and assassin forces. Moreover, the London police confirm that Morgan robbed the bank and are currently issuing a citywide arrest warrant. Therefore, for Nina's safety, Morgan is forced to take her with him. Just like that, the originally warm family trip turns into a cross-country escape. And at Nina's strong request, they also take Ollie, who was implicated for no reason, along with them. At the same time, the bearded man has arrived in Paris, France. He rings the bell of the family mansion. Not long after, the large gate slowly opens. However, the butler Victor does not recognize him. The bearded man doesn't mind at all, just saying he returned to take over the family business and presents the key. Seeing this, the butler's attitude immediately turns 180 degrees, respectfully inviting him into the house and leading him straight to the study. The bearded man struts forward, taking out the mechanism that matches the key. He inserts the key into the lock and gently turns it. The next second, two rectangular screens of light slowly rise from the ground. Inside is the entire fortune left by Morgan's father. Looking at the total assets with 9 figures, the bearded man cannot help but smile crazily. In another development, the Morgan family has also successfully left England. They walk in the biting cold wind. The current situation is indeed a bit desolate. At this moment, Morgan speaks up first, saying that he will take the family to Paris. On the way, he suddenly understands that blindly hiding is not a long-term strategy. He must declare war on the bearded man to completely eliminate the threat to his loved ones. Then they find a garbage truck preparing to drive to Paris. When the sun sets, everyone finally arrives in the center of Paris. The Arc de Triomphe is brilliant in the sunset. If ignoring the fact that they are running for their lives, this scene is truly worth stopping to take a photo. Morgan knocks on the door of his ex-girlfriend Lena, hoping she can temporarily let them stay. Lena sees that Morgan is still as handsome as ever, so she happily agrees to his request to stay. She even personally goes into the kitchen to prepare a sumptuous dinner for the group that has had to endure sleeping in the open. Ellie is very grateful to Lena for sheltering them, but looking at the intimate gestures between her and Morgan, Ellie still feels a little uncomfortable inside. Luckily, after dinner, Morgan successfully contacts the bearded man. The two arrange to meet at a museum, where there are metal detectors so the other party will find it hard to bring weapons. However, Ellie is still worried afterward because, according to her, the bearded man is not a reasonable person. Morgan naturally understands this well, but after all, the other party is his biological younger brother. He absolutely cannot act as he would with others and directly finish him off. Moreover, in his memory, as a child, the bearded man was a very obedient child. Therefore, Morgan decides to talk to the other party first, to clarify what he ultimately wants to do. The next day, the two meet on time at the museum. Morgan tries to keep his voice gentle, trying to treat him as he did when they were young. However, the bearded man is full of hatred for him. He is unwilling to accept why, clearly being biological brothers, they live lives as different as sky and earth. Hearing this, Morgan feels a bit of remorse. He tries to explain that he didn't know and currently he has given up his old life. Unexpectedly, the bearded man gets even angrier. What was given to him, he didn't want. Clearly, both brothers admired the other's life more. Morgan hopes the bearded man can stop. As long as he doesn't commit crimes like their father, they can still be brothers. Otherwise, don't blame him for once again placing righteousness above family ties. But unexpectedly, the bearded man sneers. Does he have to give up a corporation with infinite resources in exchange for vague, illusory kinship? As the words are uttered, Morgan realizes that today will definitely not achieve any results. Reluctantly, he can only warn this self-proclaimed younger brother one more time. Hurry up and cancel all actions and future plans, otherwise very soon, the other party will witness how father trained him. Looking at Morgan's cruel and icy eyes, the bearded man suddenly loses all confidence. So after returning to the manor, he immediately gathers the elite assassins left by his father, putting a sky-high price on Morgan's head. At this time, Morgan is completely unaware that he is about to face a great disaster. To make his wife happy, he rents a yacht, taking the whole family for a night cruise on the Seine. Looking at the beautiful scenery on both banks, the pressure and fear along the way for everyone is finally relieved. However, that very night, Nina tells Morgan about the assassination bounty. She says that assassins will find them soon. Morgan immediately realizes something is wrong, hurriedly runs into the bedroom, wakes everyone up to prepare to take them to escape right in the night. But the next second, Morgan collapses on the floor, his whole body devoid of any strength. At this moment, Lena slowly walks in, frankly admitting she drugged him. Morgan knows he has fallen into a trap, hurriedly telling Kyle to take the others and leave, but strangely, Lena lets them all go, even providing a car for them to escape. Although the car is small compared to the whole family, it is enough as a means of transport. At this time, Morgan is in a deep coma, so everyone dares not hesitate a bit, immediately stepping on the gas to rush out of the warehouse. However, just as they get on the road, a black car sticks close behind, not leaving. Clearly, it is an assassin coming for the bounty. Kyle has no choice but to speed up desperately. A suffocating chase officially begins. Kyle's driving is as terrible as usual. After a while of crashing and banging, not only does he fail to shake off the pursuer, but he also falls into a deep abyss because he is unfamiliar with the road. Nina screams in terror. At this time, Morgan is also shaken awake by the turbulence. Although his consciousness is not yet fully clear, instinctively he hugs his youngest son Max tightly, preventing the boy from being thrown out violently. Luckily, the car finally lands safely. Kyle dares not hesitate for half a second, continuing to press hard on the accelerator to rush forward. Seeing the black car still gradually approaching, he decisively floors the gas pedal. Just like that, the whole family avoids another calamity. After finding a safe place to rest for the night, Morgan decides to send the family away and face the pursuit and future circumstances alone. But just as he is discussing with Ellie, Nina's voice unexpectedly rings out from behind. Unity brings more strength. Can't we discuss this together, the whole family thinking of a way together? The couple hears this and is a bit moved inside. It turns out that unconsciously, the children who were always protected under their wings have grown up. So the whole family gathers around the car, analyzing the current situation and discussing the next actions to take. They cannot just leave Paris, otherwise they will become international wanted criminals. Nor can they let Morgan turn himself in because the person who robbed the bank is fundamentally not him. But besides these two options, what else can they do? Unexpectedly, at this moment, Morgan and Kyle say in unison that they have a good idea. A few minutes later, everyone approaches the villa where Morgan lived in his childhood. Looking at that magnificent building, the children cannot help but exclaim, "Turns out our family is that rich?" But Morgan pours cold water on them, saying he never thought of returning to inherit the family fortune. While everyone is whispering, Morgan sees an unexpected figure, precisely the old butler Victor of the villa. Although the other party appears outside the villa, Morgan dares not act recklessly. Because he knows very well the bearded man has certainly arranged heavy security measures around, and just glancing over, he has detected many surveillance cameras. Perhaps all their actions have long been grasped in the bearded man's sight. He needs to wait for the best opportunity. At this moment, Kyle takes out a hard drive, saying that as long as he plugs it into the main computer, he can wipe the data in the server. Thereby, the assassination network will no longer exist. Unexpectedly, this eldest son who seemed incompetent and useless is a computer genius. Morgan finally accepts the hard drive, then signals the others to act according to the plan. However, once he encounters trouble, everyone must immediately retreat, change their names, and live in another country. After the whole family encourages each other, they immediately act according to the plan. Morgan and Ollie weave between the buildings, quickly approaching the main house. The others park the car on the west side of the villa, ready to support at any time. At the same time, Kyle also successfully hacks into the villa's surveillance system and searches for communication channels to record. On the other hand, the bearded man also notices the surveillance screen flickering abnormally but doesn't pay too much attention. Unexpectedly, at this time, Morgan has discovered a sniper hiding in a high position. He immediately signals Kyle to disable the nearby camera, then coordinates seamlessly with Ollie to easily subdue the sniper. But unexpectedly, the other party runs out of sniper rounds but still has a pistol. Next, a noise rings out from the walkie-talkie. Nina immediately turns pale, thinking her father met with misfortune, but unexpectedly the person lying on the ground is that sniper. Everyone just breathes a sigh of relief when the bearded man's voice rings out from the sniper's walkie-talkie. Luckily, Kyle successfully recorded audio and fooled him. The bearded man cannot believe that the subordinates left by his father are so arrogant. He gnashes his teeth and throws the walkie-talkie away. At this moment, Morgan and Ollie take the opportunity to approach the last camera. At the same time, the group of protesters gathered by Nina has also pulled up in front of the villa, occupying the full view of the main gate camera. The bearded man's attention is also attracted by this crowd, completely forgetting about searching for Morgan's whereabouts. Looking at Ollie walking into the middle of the crowd, Nina immediately realizes their plan has succeeded. Sure enough, Morgan at this time has silently sneaked into the villa through a secret passage. But unexpectedly, just as he stands firm, the bearded man's voice suddenly rings out from behind. It turns out that as a child, Morgan had accidentally revealed the villa's secret entrance and exit to him. Therefore, the bearded man had prepared an ambush early on. But just as he prepares to pull the trigger, the old butler Victor suddenly appears behind him, saying that they have a private room to handle matters like this, absolutely not allowing anyone to act on their own authority. Reluctantly, the bearded man has to lower the gun. Morgan also very sensibly follows them and accidentally drops the hard drive Kyle gave him. Next, his earpiece, walkie-talkie and mini camera are all discovered by the bearded man. Looking at the computer screen that has turned black, Ellie and the children immediately realize Morgan has met with misfortune. Ellie immediately falls into extreme pain and despair. But just as she prepares to follow her husband's previous instructions to take the children, change their names, and go into exile, Kyle suddenly brings the computer in front of her. It turns out Morgan deliberately dropped the hard drive. As long as Kyle can control the main computer, he will have a chance to rescue him. Ellie hears this and immediately changes the plan. She leaves the children in the car, while she quickly climbs onto the roof of the adjacent building. Although Ellie doesn't know parkour, she is an excellent track and field athlete. Seeing the distance as wide as a natural barrier, Ellie grits her teeth and decides to gamble. Just like that, she also successfully infiltrates the inside of the villa through the secret passage and finds the hard drive Morgan intentionally dropped. Next, as long as she finds the main computer, she can destroy the bearded man's plan, and Morgan also doesn't need to be timid anymore. Simultaneously, Kyle also, through the surveillance equipment, learns that the bearded man has personally taken Morgan to the dark room. Taking this opportunity, Ellie carefully sneaks into the study and plugs the hard drive into the computer. Very quickly, Kyle gains access. However, right at this moment, a female assassin is approaching the study. Ellie hurriedly hides in the closet in the room but is still found by the other party. Reluctantly, Ellie has to engage in combat with her. Nina and everyone in the car are closely monitoring the situation, amazed that Ellie relies on her physical strength to successfully counterkill a professional assassin. This truly exceeds everyone's expectations. On the other hand, Morgan also successfully escapes his shackles and, utilizing his familiarity with the villa structure, takes down quite a few assassins. While the battle is raging inside the villa, Nina and the others also encounter big trouble. The assassin who chased them last night appears again. Kyle can only speed up the virus implantation process. Luckily, before being discovered by the assassin, he completes the final step. Then, he immediately follows his sister off the car. Nina is also quick-witted, hurriedly using the crowd of protesters to isolate the assassin, taking her younger brothers to escape into the nearby Christmas tree. Simultaneously, the bearded man finally discovers the server anomaly. He hurriedly wants to fix it but it is too late. All the money has been transferred and the data in the main computer is also wiped clean. The bearded man cannot believe his eyes looking at all this. Before he can recover, Morgan suddenly appears. The bearded man has lost all reason, immediately pulling out a gun. But in just a blink of an eye, Morgan's figure has disappeared. He hurriedly chases but is attacked by surprise by Morgan. During the struggle, the two crash through the window and rush outside. Although the situation has been overturned, the bearded man refuses to give up. Reluctantly, Morgan can only continue the pursuit. Finally, the bearded man is subdued. Morgan walks out of the villa like a hero, calmly raising his hands for the police to handcuff him. Although the final stop of the Christmas vacation is prison, for the Morgan family, as long as the whole family is together, anywhere is Christmas. But just at this moment, Ollie suddenly leads a strange man in a white coat over. It turns out his father is the Secretary General of Interpol. Hearing this, Morgan is at first stunned and speechless, then immediately jumps out of the police car. He declares Ollie is the good son-in-law he has chosen. Just like that, the Morgan family is released on the spot, and their family grows from 5 people to 6. Here the movie ends. The value of a movie lies in its reputation, and the value of a movie review lies in the feeling. Today's story ends here. Thank you for watching. How do you find this movie?